Hello, Tim here, and welcome to another of my painting critique videos. In this video, I'll be reviewing the paintings from the attendees of my September 2024 workshop, where we painted a busy London street corner in Covent Garden. In this video, I'll be offering constructive feedback on each of the attendee paintings, and my crit is based on my own perspective. I'll be highlighting the bits I think I admire about each piece, and I'll also suggest a small tweak or maybe an improvement just to help refine your skills even further. So remember, we're all here to learn and grow together. Now, please bear in mind, as we see the attendees' paintings, the colour and lighting in the photo may not be exactly correct, the focus as well. So just bear that in mind as we're using all these different devices and different lighting conditions. You don't have to paint in my style. Anyone that's familiar with my particular watercolor style, it's really interesting to see everyone's different take on the same scene. And the workshops I do, pretty much every month, we're welcome to painters of all different levels, beginners and advanced, everyone's welcome. If you do want to take part in future workshops, then please check out my event website, which is crowdcast.io/Tim Wilmot. There you'll see this workshop and also all of the previous ones, and also mention of the next one coming up soon. So I'm going to go through the attendee paintings one by one, but first of all, we'll have a quick check of the source, the subject of this workshop, this busy street corner in Covent Garden in London. Well, what we've got here is a contre-jour scene. It's my own photo. I think the composition is pretty close to what people might like as regards a composition. We've got that street corner on the left-hand side, a little bit of a cafe going on there below the green blind, the parasol there. On the right-hand side, a row of buildings, typical sort of London architecture, very tricky perspective and quite difficult rooftop and all of those windows to deal with as well. Then going over to the right-hand side, that's the entrance to Covent Garden, the market, and well, a sort of nondescript hedgerow going over to the right-hand side. There's a London taxi cab. We've got to sneak in a London taxi cab in there. And then, of course, all of the myriad of people that we've got around the scene, walking away, walking towards us, going about their business. There are some things that I would leave out in a composition like this, and you will see that in my painting and maybe a few of the other attendees' paintings. First of all, cropping the left and the right-hand side. The dimensions of my paper, they're not sort of widescreen like this. They're more sort of 4:3 rather than 16:9. So crop, just imagine a band off the left-hand side, so missing out that motorbike. There's not a lot going on here on that right-hand side either. So cropping that. That wheel that's, I think it's sort of padlocked to the lamppost for some reason. Hopefully they're okay or the bike's secure somewhere. But that wheel, leave that out. There's sort of, I guess there's maybe some sort of information post here. Leave that out. Simplifying the people. Tricky things also, the cobbles on the ground, the light against those cobbles, it's dry conditions and it's quite sunny as well. Got a bit of a sheen on those cobblestones, but also the pattern of those cobblestones. They're really well worn and weathered, and we've got the pattern of those going across the scene, and the perspective of those, the lines leading us into the composition. My demo painting then from the event, which I am fairly happy about. I normally say that on each of these critiques. I'm fairly happy with the painting I did live on the demo. I think the cobblestones, the cobbled street, maybe could have been a little bit tidy. There's a lot of sort of brush marks going on there, perhaps a little bit untidy. And it was under, I did do it under demonstration conditions, so I'm painting it live in front of attendees and trying to give commentary at the same time. I think if I was on my own, doing it in my own time, I might have paid a little bit more attention to that. But quite happy with the scene. Think I got the perspective right, particularly those tricky buildings there with the bank, the NatWest Bank there on the right hand side, then leading down into the distance. A little bit of a sense of depth as well, in that we've got slightly lighter values there as we go into the distance, and the contrast with the darker edge of the building on the left hand side. The blind there could have been a little bit greener, but we've got the light, so the contrast of the light against the dark, the feeling of the sunlight coming towards us, mixture of figures as well, different figures all over the place, trying to get the top line of the heads in level as well. That's what I'll also be looking for when I go through various attendees, the different attendees' paintings, is that perspective with multiple figures. The London taxi sort of looks like a London taxi. The kind of rounded shape that you often have with that age of that taxi, and then the architecture, trying to get right the top windows there, these sort of dormer windows on the top of the rooftop, and then all of those windows going down into the street and different ones catching light, some dark, some light. The street light there in the middle. Yes, is it in a good position? What do you think? It's sort of right in the middle there. Would it be better if it was slightly to the left or maybe a bit more to the right? But I've got to obviously get it on that street corner there. A few bollards as well there. A nod to the architecture on the left, the actual blocks building up that substantial building on the left-hand side. Yeah, and then just a little bit of the Covent Garden entrance on the right. So fairly happy with mine. Mixture of warms and cools as well. Those darker reds and the blues, trying to get some interest. Bit of a little sort of hedge or planters going on there with the surrounding of the cafe. As I say, fairly happy with these. So I'm going to go through now the attendees' paintings one by one in alphabetical order. What I'm going to be looking for is, well, a number of things. First of all, composition from my photo. Have you gone down? Have you copied the composition of the photo, or you've maybe taken on board some of the things I mentioned in the demo, or done your just doing your own thing? Perspective is a big thing in this, getting the drawing right, the perspective of that middle building going down into the distance and those figures. Talking about figures, trying to get in a good number of figures, because this is a fairly busy scene, so we can't have it empty of figures. We've got to have quite a few in there, and also different size of figures and different poses of those figures. There's the London taxi. Do we get in that car? Yes, we must get in that London taxi cab in there, trying to make it sort of taxi-like as well. And the dark colour of those taxi cabs, how are you going to do that? Trying to get in that sort of dark, almost black colour, shiny black colour of that London taxi. The feeling of light, with contre-jour. Has the attendee captured the sense of that bright sunlight coming towards us? And finally, getting a little bit creative as well. I'll keep an eye out for anyone that's trying to add in their own stamp on this, their own little artistic style, their own variant on the composition, or a different sort of watercolor technique. Let's keep our eye out for that as well. So let's go through them then one by one. First up then, Allah. Really nice composition. What's striking me, first of all, is the really good way in which you've depicted this London architecture there, with that middle building and Covent Garden there over to the right. So really good composition. you got the wheel in after all that. Actually, that wheel works quite well with the sort of circular pattern of it and the shadow from it as well. I think it sort of serves quite well to have that on that left-hand side, a little bit of a shine, a bit of attention to detail of the rim of that wheel. The London taxi, brilliant. Figures, very good. The way that, as I say, with the way that you've done the architecture, absolutely fantastic. Just the right level of detail. The lamp there is, I'm not sure if mine was the same, but it's right on the corner of that building. I'm not sure if it would it be better if it was just slightly to the left or slightly to the right? So it's not sort of obscuring that corner. You could almost miss it in a way. I love the way that you've got in that little bit of an archway there and that lamp on the right-hand side. That London taxi is absolutely fantastic. The way you've done it, that is just the right shape. Well done, Alla. Very nice indeed. Amy, nice composition. We got more of a feeling of the openness of the area, I think with this one. Now, perspective. I think with this one, and I suspect that a number of the other attendees as well will go a little bit off on the perspective, in that those figures there, we're on the same level as figures, so they should all be should all be in alignment. So if that is the general level of, say, the tops of the figures, so think about some kind of reference point first as regards where a figure could be at the top of the head, and then we're on the level, so all of these other figures would be the same, the heads would be the same level. So this figure down here, too low, so it needs to be, kind of in there as a figure, all right, in there. So move that one up. Right, moving on then. You've got the perspective of the buildings really well. The way that you've done the middle buildings there, very good, Amy. The light as well coming in, fantastic. The attention to detail on that left-hand side, very good. The lamp not obscuring that corner of the building. The taxi, very good as well. Yeah, it's just those figures, I think. The cobblestones, they've come out all right. Yeah, they're serving their purpose to lead us into the composition. You've got that fairly light area there where it's just up against the edge of the pavement, and then a little bit darker, a little bit warmer, quite nice, a little bit warmer down that bottom right-hand corner. Well done, Amy. Thank you. And Andrew. Good composition. It looks like we've zoomed in here, Andrew, on this one, and we've got less of that foreground. The perspective is very good. It's a little bit, I think it's a little bit overworked with some of the brushwork that you've got here, especially in, if I draw it, especially in that kind of area there. I would say try and keep it fresh, and in that area there, Andrew, that's got to be quite light. So maybe less of the intricate brush marks that you've done. But the figures are good. Got a sense of movement. That one there, maybe the head might be a little bit too large, but that figure there, right, good. Just be careful with a dominant figure on the left-hand side there walking off. I just think they always look better. If that figure there did a 180 and was coming onto the scene, that would look a little bit better. Really good with the building though. The colour of the masonry, the cool blue of the windows, the green of the parasol there, the planters, very good. Nice position of the lamp. Yeah, nice one, Andrew. Thank you very much indeed. And Anna, nicely framed as well. Always sets off a painting really well when you put a mount around it, frame it that way. Let me just zoom in a little bit there. Can I zoom in a bit more? There we go. Right, good composition. Certainly got the feeling of light. Perspective is very good indeed. Certainly the cobblestones on the right-hand side, very good. Maybe some of if I was to draw a line there, maybe some of these lines here could come out, the lines of the cobblestones could come out a little bit more like that, Anna, just to give the feeling of perspective a bit more. They're sort of, excuse my crude drawing here, but that I think is the main guidelines, if you like, for the lines of those cobbles. So just a little bit too parallel in that area there. Figures are very good. Nice bunch of figures. Taxi, what on the taxi? Perspective of the building, just right. Position of the lamp, yeah, good. Parasol, fantastic. I like the two people here. Good sense of movement together. Shopping, of course. It's a market. Well, you can have a few people there doing that. And then this guy here on the left-hand side, what has he got? Maybe he's got a dog, walking a dog around the area. Yeah. Yeah, good figures. And they're all in line. And a nice bit of light on some of those figures as well. Well done, Anna. And Bob. Bob's superb paper. Again on show. Look at that deckled edge. Lovely paper. Looks like, is that handmade, Bob? I think it is. Lovely paper. The composition, very good indeed. Yeah, ignoring all of that stuff on the right-hand side is not important. This is the main focus here, looking down the street. I think you made the street maybe a little bit wider. Doesn't matter. Nice position for the light as well, although it is right there in the middle. And you know what I say about dominant things in the middle there, just being sometimes looking a little bit odd, but I think you got away with it there. The perspective is excellent. The cobblestones, the figures are really good as well. The London taxi also. Maybe the taxi could be a little bit more solid or a little bit darker. I reckon they could be a little bit darker. Nice shadow though coming out, and the shadow of these figures on the street, that really does help the feeling of perspective as well, and leading the eye into the scene. Yeah, thank you very much, Barb. Excellent painting. And Ben. Good composition. Perspective is very good indeed. I like your figures in that very realistically. We've got maybe this lady checking her mobile, and then figures walking all over the place. This figure here on the left walking into the scene. Good idea. The taxi, that's come out really well. Could be a little bit darker, maybe. Buildings, brilliant. Is there a little bit of a lean on that building? Doesn't matter. I think it's got a nice bit of character about it, that the angle that you've got there. Certainly got the perspective right. I like the shadow there on the left, and the different edges that you've got as well, in that we've got a hard edge at the top, bit of a softer edge there. Nice. Cobbles are very good also. Nice bit of splattering in that bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, well done, Ben. Nice one. And Bob. Vertical. Gone vertical here, which would be a really good idea with a scene like this, particularly where we've got very tall buildings, maybe narrow streets, not a lot of width to the street. Works really well. And in that vertical format, what also works are those two figures on the right-hand side. My eyes go to those straight away. The larger figure on the right, and then the slightly smaller figure on the left, and the shadow coming into that bottom right-hand corner. Excellent composition. We don't need to then bother with all of that stuff on the right-hand side. We don't need to bother with that London taxi. It's just another confusing thing to put in there. Really nice composition. I like those two blinds as well. Good feature to include in the scene. There were a couple of blinds in the source photo, a jumble of a group of people there. The cafe, you've gone with a blue blind, not the green. Doesn't matter, it works really well. I think it's a superb scene. Really good idea going that vertical format. That building, the architecture of that building, you've got that. You've depicted that so well. And a few, I presume they're pigeons in the sky. Got to be pigeons in London, hasn't it? Yeah, a very nice scene. Yeah, well done for going vertical, Bob. Good decision. Buck. Nice composition. Got a good balance to it. Again, the lady, that must have been the source photo, the lady checking her phone. That taxi is brilliant. Perspective, fantastic. Excellent, very good indeed. The cobbles, very good. A nod to the Covent Garden on the right hand side. A little bit of a wavy edge to the parasol there. Soft edges as well. I depict a few soft edges. You've gone a lot softer there at street level. That works well to sort of add a bit of atmosphere to it and push it back a bit in distance wise as well, getting a bit of depth into the scene. Shadows, they've worked really well also in that you've got those lines there helping with the perspective and going a little bit lighter with those shadows coming towards us, further away from the objects that's creating that cast shadow. Nice bollard there, nicely placed. Yep, thank you, Buck. Right, Ching. Good composition. Perspective is very good. Maybe just a little bit of a lean on that building on the right-hand side, just a tiny bit of a lean, which I personally, I quite like it, leaning like that. It's got a nice sort of character to it. I think that bit of a lean, and it all in a way, it's sort of subconsciously, it sort of drags me down. You've got those lines there. If I had another line in there, sort of going at that angle, it would sort of, my eyes would go more to that area. The figures are brilliant. Nice bunch of figures, groups of figures. They're all random. Good perspective on those figures as well. The taxi also good. Maybe that taxi could have just a bit more light on the top, and that's a rounded top to it as well. Well done with the taxi. Yeah, it's a nice scene. Perhaps you might have gone a bit more sort of line and wash, I guess, with those darker lines. I like it. The parasol, yeah, lovely. Don't make them too steep. The parasol like a sort of pyramid type shape. Try and keep it fairly shallow. Nice one, Ching. Very nice painting. Well done. Oh, and also I like that coolness in there against that red. Yeah, well done. Christy. It's a liner wash. I think we've got a few liner washes. This works really well. It does, doesn't it? Liner wash with complicated architecture and a London scene like this. Liner wash, good way to go. And you've got a lot of the scene in. We've got the sense of the height of the buildings. You've lowered the horizon. You've got a lot in here. You've included a lot in here. The Covent Garden buildings on the right-hand side, those pillars and the ornate facade of that. On the left-hand side, the height of the building, the complicated architecture of the buildings going down there into the street. The figures, brilliant. Nice bunch of figures. Taxi done work really well. I know you wrote to me, you said you mucked up the cobbles, but I think the cobbles are brilliant in that with all of those blocks making up that cobble street, just put in a few of them, just hinting at the kind of way that they're all sort of connected with each other, and those rows of cobbles coming out from the corner of the street. Yeah, works really well. Thanks very much, Christy. And Colin. Nice composition. It's quite a cool look to this one. Works well. Maybe more of a winter feeling to it. The perspective is very good indeed. Certainly with the building, the cobbles, the lines of cobbles on the street, maybe they're just a little bit too steep here, Colin. I think that would look better so we've got that line there. We want to try and sort of have a radiating pattern like that in that there coming out from the taxi. It looks a little bit more level. I might have exaggerated a little bit, but hopefully you get the general idea there. Figures, brilliant. Nice bunch of figures. Left-hand one, walking into the right. Good group. All different. Got the heads, the level of heads right as well. The London taxi, that's very good as well. Perhaps a little bit too much of the sort of that curve there. Maybe the top could be just a little bit wider and then comes down there just a little bit more, but certainly looks like a London taxi to me. Yeah, it's a lovely scene. Well done with the building though, going down into the distance and the position of that light. Excellent. Thank you very much, Colin. And did I skip one then? No. And Diana. Right, I think you might have moved the horizon up a little bit on this one. So you're making more of a feature of the foreground. And then that foreground, let me just zoom in on this one a bit more. That foreground's got to be, it's got to be good. It's got to be good, do a good job on that foreground. Look, quite a lot of the scene here is, the size of the composition is devoted to that foreground. The perspective in the top half, very good indeed. I think with these lines here of the cobbled street, these thicker lines, they're just a little bit too thick, I reckon. So maybe just a little bit narrower, a little bit thinner, and also a bit more of a sort of lost and found in that we've got a line and then it sort of vanishes, and then we've got a line again as we're coming down that line. With the perspective, let's go through this. So we're okay there, we're okay here, but some of these lines are too parallel, like those two there. They're like almost 100% parallel. We just want to start going out a little bit more. I reckon, yeah, maybe back this area here, we need to start going out. All right, so we've got the end of the pavement. It goes round and disappears. It goes up the street there. And then continuing on these cobbles here. Do you see, again, I might be just slightly exaggerating a bit more, but trying to get the sense of the level street. Good figures, nice bunch of figures. Again, try and get those heads all in line. Maybe did a bit too much of the open spaces around there. And yeah, we've got a bit too much light around some of those figures. These are all right. With those figures that are dark and there's a darker background behind them, consider putting in towards the end of the painting, like I do. You would have seen me, Diana, do my little thing with white gouache at the end. So just a little bit of a, on a head there, and then some shoulders. Do you see? Just trying to make that more figure-like with a tiny bit of white gouache, like you've done there with the taxi. You've done it with the taxi there, but just continue some of these figures like that one there. All right. Well done, Diana. But you've got the colours, lovely colours. And Diane. Yes, I'm struck by the tall building there in the middle. Very imposing. Certainly got the sense of the height. Maybe your figures, the size of the figures compared to that building. I think it does give the sense of the height of that middle architecture there. Perspective is very good. Just watch again with the cobblestones, maybe just bringing them out a little bit more level on that right-hand side. The figures are excellent. Let's zoom in onto those figures. Yeah, good bunch of figures. Always good to have some bags or shoulder bags or something like that around those figures. Got the feeling of light as well coming in. Brilliant. Yeah, well done with the architecture. Very good. Well done, Diane. Thank you. And Dina. Good composition. Like this lady here, looks like she's missed her transport or taxi or bus or whatever. Looks like she's got a bit of a sense of urgency on her. So nice movement with all of those figures. The taxi, brilliant. There in the middle. Also, that taxi looks like it's moving away. Got a feeling of movement. The perspective is good. The building there, I think you got the perspective right on that building. Not so sure about Covent Garden here on the right, in that the building might be just a little bit too tall, and I'm not sure if that sort of orange, that very warm orange, works. But it serves its purpose, doesn't it? On that right hand side, and we've got those columns there and that hedge at the bottom. With the cobbles, they're good. Not so sure about the squiggly lines. I think those lines would be better. So we got the lines coming out from the pavement, all right, but maybe the lines going at right angles to those could be a little bit straighter and maybe fewer of them. And I'm not sure if the dry brush marks work either, but we got the feeling of a texture on the street. That's the main thing. It looks different from that pavement. Yeah, well done. But I do like the movement in those figures. Well done, Dina. And Dorth. We've got a bit of a square dimension here. Let me just zoom in here. Nice composition. The perspective is good, certainly with the building is good. I'm not sure with the cobbles there. Again, I guess this might come up a few times. These lines coming out from the pavement are a little bit too parallel. So think about, again, as I've mentioned before with others. So we go like that, all right. So try and go out a little bit like that. Here, in this area here, the actual lines change a little bit because we've got one road coming in from the left, one road going away from bottom right to top left. So they are a little bit different the way that when they meet, but trying to get the feeling of those lines there. Figures, we've really got a sense of lots of figures there in that middle ground. That taxi, very good indeed. I think here we've got lots of middle values. Maybe we're missing the light. Perhaps that light on that parasol could be a bit lighter. Then we've got feeling of the light coming in, that we've got the darkness there, darkness below, but the light there, all right? Just to try and get that a little bit more. Yeah, well done. Thanks very much, Dorth. Let me just, I like the square format and a bit like Barb, but lovely paper. That deckled edge, nice. Right, Eduardo. I like the colours and those figures, these 4 figures in the middle. Yeah, really good. Very colourful scene, and we got some people sat on this side of the scene as well. So good composition. I think you got the perspective right as well. I like the way that you've been very creative with the reds. They're quite a sort of pinkish, coolish red. Maybe you could have gone a little bit darker. As I said at the beginning, I can't always be sure with people's different devices and cameras taking pictures and lighting conditions as well. It does strange things to the image and the photo and what I'm seeing and what you're seeing on your screen as well. The kind of controls and brightness level you've got there. I like the way you've done the cobbled street. That's very effective. London taxis come out really well. Yeah, I like it. Maybe that parasol, the blind, might be just a little bit too low for the figures. I think if you look at the heights of the figures and imagine them walking back a little bit further, their heads would be just a little bit below the bottom of the parasol, right? So that parasol would need to be raised a little bit. But I like the scene. I do like those colourful figures though. Yellow, green, a couple of red ones there on the right. Not so sure about the yellow lamp, but yeah, nice. I like the cobblestone. Yeah, good job with the taxi, Eduardo. Thank you. Elizabeth. Nice composition. Perspective is good. I like it. I think you've done well with the cobbled street. The figures are good also. Maybe a few figures are just a little bit too narrow. I think this lady looks all right here. And this guy on the left-hand side. Watch with the painting around the figures. For example, well, let's take these two in the middle. Now, those two could be darker. The photo was taken in the winter. So generally speaking, places like London, a lot of the figures are going to be dressed in dark clothing. So they're going to be darker than the background behind them. So rather than painting rather than daintily painting around the figures, just painting the background of that building there, knowing that the figures are going to be darker on top, all right, just so that we avoid the kind of lighter areas. But the figures are good. I like those two on the right-hand side. It looks like one figure is giving a talking to the other figure. Nice job with the taxi as well. We've got a dog in the scene. We've got all sorts going on here. And you've gone with the yellow, very creative with the yellow blind there, the yellow parasol. Yeah, excellent. Very colourful. Thanks, Elizabeth. Gordon. Well, the star of the show here. You spent a lot of time doing this, Gordon. You spent a lot. You put in a lot of effort getting in attention to detail in this scene, and that lead car there. I guess this must be an older style taxi. This is almost like a scene. On the right-hand side, we've got more sort of 1940s, 1950s, the guy with the long overcoat, typical of that sort of style. Yeah, very nice indeed. Not knowing what old London taxis look like, I guess they'd be a little bit like that. And then on the left-hand side, we're more modern. It's almost like two time zones. Very creative with that. The more modern London taxi, brilliant. Figures, fantastic. Perspective is very good. The attention to detail with the architecture, we got it in bucket loads here. On that left-hand side, the actual these bands, the little sort of architectural detail of the levels and around the windows. This guy here hailing a taxi. Yeah, good, really good figures. This guy here talking to somebody in the cab. The reflection. Look at the reflection on the windows there as well. Very good indeed, Gordon. Well done. Nice one. Oop, did I skip past someone? No. Right, Helen. Let me just zoom into this one a bit more. The other thing is some people's images will be a little bit smaller than others. So let me just zoom into Helen's here a bit more. Nice composition. I'm not sure about the taxi there almost in the middle. The figures are sort of all right. That figure's there is good. This one on the left, he looks that the legs are a bit too big. Yeah, I think the legs of your figures are a bit too big. You've got the perspective right, though. Perspective is all right with the buildings. You've gone a little bit line and wash on this. Nothing wrong with that. Like the style. The street here. If we've got I think with your pen, you'd want to try and get the bottom of the buildings a little bit like that, and then we've got the pavement coming down that left-hand side and then tucking away over the left. Yeah, I'm not sure if the taxi is right. The bottom bit sort of looks all right. Try and connect the vehicle as well with the bottom. From a perspective point of view, it needs to be more level at the bottom, all right, and then just, with the kind of London taxi-like shape, and then so I think your taxi looks like we're looking down on it a little bit, all right, on that one. So just practice your cars, Helen. But the figures are nearly there. Buildings are brilliant. Very good job on the building. I like the character of them. Just practice your cars there. Well done, Helen. Thank you. And let's go on. Right, Jim. So composition is good. Perspective is good. We're a little bit parallel with some of these lines on that left-hand side, but you've certainly got the angle right on the right-hand side. The figures are very nice indeed. This one here, the head might be just a little bit too big, but good job with the figures. We could sneak in a few more figures in the middle here, Jim, where we got some open space. I'd be tempted to. Your figures there, in the middle, they're very good. Just try and replicate those a little bit more. They're easier, aren't they? Putting in distant figures and trying to create groups of figures as well. Okay, not just necessarily individual figures. The London taxi looks fairly good to me. A little bit too much of the white stuff, sort of that shiny stuff around the details of the taxi, but on the whole, it's very good. Not so sure about that left hand, the rear, the near side, rear left-hand wheel there. These figures on the right, they could, like I pointed out to a previous attendee, just try and get a little bit of light on the end. So if that's a figure there, all right, so a bit like that. And then if there's another one there, okay, just makes them pop, just makes them stand out a little bit more in those shadows, in the shade on that right-hand side. But nice job with that. The building certainly looks like the London architecture there. Yeah, well done, Jim. Thank you. And Joe. Nice perspective. That taxi is brilliant. The figures that this lady here, let's zoom into this lady, very elegant, and the dog as well leading the way. Yeah, nice sort of arrangement of that figure and the dog. Good figures all round. Perspective. Yeah, but I think perspective is all right. I like the buildings. Good sense of light on the top of the building. Lovely sky. The cobbles, they've come out okay also. That's sort of very, you've got the winter sky of London there perfectly. A little bit of blue, but that sort of underlying greyish tone. Yeah, nice one, Joe. Thank you. Joy, let me just zoom in a little bit. We've got another vertical format. Joy, this is brilliant. I like it. I think you've got a little bit darker than your normal style. Have we got another? No, I think it's the Joy I know of. This is brilliant. I love it. The way that you've done that building in the distance, perspective is fantastic. The colours of the figures, the contrast as well. I like that bit of light there. I'm not sure what's causing it. It doesn't matter, but it just looks so good in that we got the darkness of the building behind, and then the light of the blind, and the darkness below that, and that light silhouetting those figures. Little bit of light there. The connection, the sort of the way that you've merged things together, like the taxi with its shadow. We don't need to see the bottom of the wheels as such, or the outline of the wheels. Figures are brilliant, especially that one there. That is a superb figure. Yeah. Brilliant, Joy. Very nice indeed. Very loose, very sort of contemporary looking. I would, sometimes I might point out, that building, it's touching the top of the paper. Would it be better if we could just see a little bit of sky above that building? But it doesn't matter. I think it's brilliant. And that crane as well on that right-hand side, sort of coming in from the right. Yeah, and you actually haven't bothered with the detail on the road, the cobbles. It's almost like, to me, it almost looks like the paper unpainted, which really gives that sense of light as well. Well done, Joy. June. Nice composition. Perspective is very good. Figures, excellent. Just be careful of some of the figures. Their heads might be just a little bit too large, some of in the distance there. But on the whole, they are brilliant. Just the right perspective, the sense of light coming in as well. Good range of values, the darkness of the building. That London taxi is very good. Yeah, that head there might be a bit too large. I reckon that head would need to be sort of a little bit like that. That might look a little bit better with that figure there. But they're all the figures are the right size, and you've got the perspective right of those. Taxi's very good. I like the loose style. The pencil mark showing through, I like that as well. Yeah, very nice. Well done, June. And a bit of softness on the right-hand side, always good to create a bit of atmosphere, especially around those edges. Yeah, your brushwork on that left-hand side, also very good. Bit of, we're hinting at some figures there, lurking in the shadows of that cafe. See that figure there, that's just right. That figure, just right. Well done, thanks, June. Larry. Very colourful. That sky. Yeah, it's got a lot of atmosphere. Very creative with that sky. The composition is good. Perspective is good. Not so sure about this street, the blue going into, maybe there could be a harder line there, I reckon, Larry, with the light coming in. I'm trying to, in my mind, I'm trying to think, well, if we got a curve of the street there, where is that? So it ends there. Where is it then going from there? Maybe that street could come a little bit lower, a little bit more to the left, or even there even. And then we've got the street, the bottom of the building on the right-hand side, or that middle, kind of there. But the colours that you've got in here, absolutely brilliant. That yellow, let's just zoom into that yellow against the blue, nice sort of complementary colours there, and also nestling up against that red. The feeling of depth as well into the distance. Be careful with too much light around the figures, as I mentioned before, and that taxi as well. You don't need it. I would have painted over those figures because those figures are dark. All right. Yes, like it. Well done, Larry. Laurie. Good perspective, nice composition. With the building, I think the top of it could be a little bit steeper, sort of almost like that, Laurie, and then coming down. But it looks okay. And good job on the windows. As I say, the perspective is very good. The figures are fantastic, especially the one here and this, maybe a businessman or something like that. Got a little bit of a jacket and the case, the figure there walking in from the left, the planter there. Yeah, good range of figures. The London taxi, good. Maybe the back windscreen might be just a little bit too big, like I love the lavender there. Is that lavender? I reckon it is. Nice. It looks nice. Oh, now, top of that taxi there, just an idea. You might have glazed over it with a little bit of a wash there, but maybe if I zoom in, I would erase some of these pencil lines just to get that brightness back into the scene, if possible. I sometimes, with my paintings, I do forget, but when everything's dry, get your rubber out, get the eraser out, and just get that light back in. Got the sense of light there as well. With the white gouache, just be careful not going too milky with that white. When it's too watery, these look like sort of little icicles coming down. But and it happens to me. You go, well, it's more evident there. You go in with the white, and then as it dries, it sort of infuriatingly goes darker in the middle, and then you get this sort of white edge to it, white edge to that shape there. So go a little bit thicker, maybe a little bit thinner in the distance for those distant windows. But you left them unpainted. They've come out really well. Yeah, nice colours. Good sense of light coming in. Brilliant. Well done. Oh, these. Right. That there could be a little bit more horizontal. All right. We're dipping down a little bit. All right, there. Try and get more of a horizontal line to the building details on the left. Right, next up, Lillian. I like it. I love the way that you've done this building. It's got like a sort of salmon-y red colour to it. Very effective. The composition is good, very nice indeed. Also you've got lots of different edges and also little areas just sort of lifted off there, and the top of that parasol there, a little bit there as well. Also on the top of that building, I like that edge down there. Very loose, very fresh, exploiting what watercolor does. The perspective, you haven't gone for that cobbled street, but it works out really well, those lines. Good bunch of figures. Yeah, very nice indeed. A very fresh watercolor. Right, Marilyn. I like the colors with the figures. They're very good. So nice composition. You've actually managed to get quite a bit of the building in on the right-hand side and also the left-hand side into that, more of the dimensions of what I'm doing. Perspective is very good. I think, yeah, the perspective is excellent. The figures, very good as well. Nice bunch of figures. This one here, I would make the clothing a little bit more solid, less of these little bits showing there. But the figures are very good. Also, these figures lurking in the shadows, maybe they could have the old little bit of highlighting. Watch that figure there, the head's just a little bit too big. Some of these might be just a little bit too big as well. But that one there is perfect. London Taxi, that's a really good London Taxi. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, very nice indeed. Well done, Marilyn. And Mark. Nice composition. Perspective looks quite good with the building. The cobbles, yes, they're sort of all right. I think the cobbles on the right-hand side, so that angle there, good. But maybe over to the right, they could be just a little bit more towards the horizontal, and then over on the left-hand side here, going more that as well, just to try and get the feeling of the level nature of the area. The figures are, I like them. Not so sure about the ones on the right. They're very thin legs, but the others are brilliant. I like them. A good sense of movement as well. Yes, not so sure about the very pointed sort of bottom parts of their legs. I think those there, they work well. See, their legs are almost the same width as these down the bottom right-hand corner. Also, some of the figures, try and give them some arms as well, just a little bit like this here. Maybe just bring out the arms and maybe an elbow or something like that. London Taxi, good. A little bit of overworking with the white paint though. The back, I would keep the back quite dark and don't bother with details like number plates. Yeah, I think you might have used a little bit of white paint there, which sort of works, but you can be a little bit sort of messy. So don't make, and this building here, the shady side of this building, the windows might be just a little bit too light. But it's a nice scene. You've captured the overall feeling of light really well, and perspective generally very good. Like the figures though, like the figures, not so much the thin legs though on some of them. Well, a Mark and Min. Nice composition. The lamppost here looks like it might be just in the middle of the street, so just be careful of that. Perspective is on the whole very good, although on the right-hand side, I would say on the right-hand side, that's the edge of the road, so we don't want any of that cobble stuff on that right-hand side, and also make the lines a little bit narrower on that right-hand side, okay? But the rest of it, perfect. These lines here, just right. Figures. Heads are too big. That one's all right, that figure there. That one on the left, that is a brilliant figure. You've got to copy, Min, you've got to copy the way you did that one. How you did that one, that is just right. The others though, head too big. Head too big. Head too big. Too big. All right. Taxi. London taxi. Sort of looks all right. Certainly the back of it looks okay. The front of it sort of dipping down a little bit too much, I reckon. Buildings. Buildings look good. Yep. Doesn't need, this building here doesn't need that line on the right-hand side. All right. So I would go, so light sky, maybe the horizontal bands here, these light bands, they could be just a little bit darker, tiny bit darker. Then that red there, of course, darker still than that red. And that will serve as the boundary on that right-hand side, all right? Apart from that, good perspective. A little bit of a lean with the parasol. Could have been a bit lighter in that area there. You've got bucket loads of light there. That's fantastic. Not so sure about that light there. Don't need it. That could be shady in there on that side. Well done, Min. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you. And a nice bit of darkness on that right-hand side. Do feel, yeah, that light is sort of drawing your eye in. Well done. And let's go to the next one. Nino. A little bit of line and wash here, I reckon. Good composition. Perspective. Yeah, perspective's got all right with the building. The street as well. We're just beginning to, some of those figures are the nearby figures there. They're coming down a little bit lower. So it looks like the viewer is slightly sort of elevated above the scene. Taxi is good. The sense of light, brilliant. The position of that lamp, very good. We've got some birds in the sky. They may be more like, perhaps they're more like seagulls rather than pigeons. Yeah, well done with the architecture. Just be careful. Don't bother with the white paint. Don't think it needs it. Yeah, well done, Nino. Thank you. And Nydia. Nice composition. You've got the sense of depth there. Very well. Look how light that is there. Well done. The figures are very good indeed, although we are just beginning to, like a few other people, just beginning to, with the perspective figures, it looks like the viewer is looking down just a little bit, like we're in a first floor window or we're on the top of a step ladder and we're sort of just beginning to look down. So try and get those head levels right. And maybe it's the angle of that taxi. The taxi is sort of pointing upwards. Think of the, your eye level is there. All right, so that's the top of the taxi. And so it's maybe not going to lean back so much. Very nice architecture with the building above the bank. We've got sense of light. Could be a little bit lighter on that parasol. But I do like the way you've got the sense of depth in here, Nydia. That's worked really well. Figures are excellent. I like the lady with a phone texting away. Heads sort of all right. Good size to them. Yeah, that figure there, brilliant. And that one also on the left-hand side, walking over to the right. Nice one. Thanks very much. Now, Peter, let's just zoom in a bit more on this. Oh, we've gone more for a sort of pre-war 1930s view to it, and a limited palette as well. Yeah, you've gone very creative with this, Peter. We've taken that kind of London scene and we've changed it in a few areas. Well, we've made the building a little bit lower there, more like a sort of lower terraced block of buildings. We got the sense of light. Good job with the lights as well. On the left-hand side, looking over to the right. On the right-hand side, pointing into the left. The figures are generally very good. I like this one here, leaning forwards. This one, maybe the case might be just a little bit too big. Yeah, but on the whole, the figures are brilliant. I like this old car here, this vintage classic car. Yeah, I guess it must be you must have done a bit of research on old London taxi cabs. Um, the figures on the left, they're all right. Maybe the head might be a little bit too large, and this blind here, maybe the top part of it might be just a little bit darker there in the shadows. But I do like the scene. Very nice indeed, and nicely mounted also. Well done, Peter. And Ravi. Nice composition. We've got the feeling it looks just like London. The way that you've done that building, the feeling of the depth as well that you've got. We've gone a little bit grayer, haven't we? Cooler, grayer, softer at the bottom, bit of light also emanating from the back there. We've got the light coming in. The figures are very good, especially, well, they're all very good in the nearby figures, especially that one there. Taxi, the London taxi, very good as well. The perspective with the cobbles, also very good. Yeah, it's a really nice scene. Well done, Ravi. Thanks very much indeed. Robbie. Nice composition. Perspective. Perhaps we could be just watch for the heads, the tops of the heads, trying to get them all level. Maybe the top of the building could be just a little bit steeper up like that. Maybe just a little bit. It looks like it's a tiny bit too small in comparison to the figures, just a little bit. The sense of light, brilliant coming in. The London taxi, that's also very good indeed. This is white. If this is a little white gash, just don't do it too much. I think you've used it where you have used it very well. You've just got the right kind of mixture of water, the sort of ratio of water to white. Nice touch with the windows going down in the distance, bit of negative painting there. Yeah, nice sense of light coming in. With the perspective, maybe the cobbles on the right could be a little bit more level. All right. Because the street's sort of on the level there. Well done, Robbie. And Sandra. Nice composition. Not sure the motion button is there. Let me just see if I go back. Oh, maybe it's detected some kind of little mini video. Not sure. Anyway, I'll treat it as a still image. I like the sense of perspective here. The feeling that it's almost like in a way, I'm sort of crouched down and I'm looking up at that building, and it creates that sort of sense that the building is quite substantial and tall. So really nice on the perspective. The lines worked out really well. The figures are very good. Lady there, distant figures, the London taxi. We've got the sense of light coming in as well. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, really good sense of light there, Sandra. Thank you. Sylvia. I like the way that you brought in that right-hand side, the architecture and that hedge, and also this little bit of a curve here. The yellow of the pavement. You've gone lighter. You haven't got a lot of contrast between that and the light here, but it still works. You've also put in a bit more detail into some of the street furniture here, the bollards. You saw that kind of poster there, the lights as well. The figures are very good. The couple of taxis as well. The way that you've done the architecture. Just be careful of not going too dark with some of those lines in there. But on the whole, it works. I think it's a lovely watercolor. Yeah, it works really well with that light coming down here, and then you've got that soft edge to the shadow, and then that sort of hedge coming on that right-hand side, and those lines, the lines of the Covent Garden building on that right-hand side, and that the bottom of that hedge as well, sort of leads us into leads us into that scene. Nice job with the cafe blind as well. Thanks, Sylvia. Right, Trisha, zoom in here. Nice composition. Good sense of light coming in. I like the way that you've done those cobbled streets. Again, could be just a little bit more narrow on that right-hand side, but you certainly got the feeling of the cobbled street. Brilliant. Figures, very nice indeed. Excellent. All sorts of different sizes. Just be careful with some of the legs a little bit too thick, perhaps. Those two there. These two, brilliant. Brilliant over there. The lady here, just crossing the street. The cafe, or that figure on the left-hand side, she's very good as well. Just but like hand in a handbag and marching off towards the right. Good sense of light with that parasol. Yeah, really good. I like the way that you've got that softness on the top of that rooftop there as well. That bit of bleeding that's going on from the roof colour into the sky. Well done, Trisha. I think that's the last one. Well, thanks very much, all of you, for posting or sending me your paintings. Anyone watching this, I hope you enjoyed just looking at everyone's interpretation of the scene. Just remember my event website, crowdcast.io / Tim Wilmot, if you want to take part in future events or some of the events I've done already to get a video critique from me. You can also join my mailing list or watch for announcements on my website as well, which is timwilmot.com. But thanks for watching, and the next video will most likely be one of my normal tutorial videos as well. But hopefully you like these critique videos that I'm doing, showcasing attendees' paintings. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next video. Happy painting. Bye-bye.